This is Tom Aspray with the Viper Report. This is a brief intro into part of my presentation for the upcoming Wealth 365 conference about my favorite chart formations. It'll also utilize some of the indicators that many of you may know. This is a chart of the Invesco QQ Trust going into the summer of 2017. And actually I followed this pattern in my publications at the time. We had a really nice move to the upside here. We formed a doji here, and the next day we had a doji sell signal, and which suggested this market was topping out a little bit. Went sideways for a couple days, big day down. They went well below the Stark bands. Next day also below the Stark bands. We had a rebound back, to the moving average, and then another push down back to those lows. So what was the interpretation at that point? Well, first of all, you have to look below there. You can see the OBV turned very negative. So that was a sign that there was quite heavy selling on this decline and that the decline was likely to continue. If you look at the fib levels from this low to this high, you'll see we exceeded the 38.2% support, which was at 134.42. The low here was at 133.57. So that also favored a bounce from here, but as you can see, the OBV and frankly the other technical studies were a long ways from turning positive. We did get quite a nice rally that lasted a little over a week. Took us back above 138, right back up into this resistance. But then at that point was a good shorting opportunity, in my opinion. And there are a number of ways you can analyze what the potential downside targets are. One that often works quite well is to look at how far prices dropped on the initial decline, which was just over 6 points. If you take 6 points and subtract it from this high, which was 138.61, you get 132.21. You can see that also comes right into the 50% support level. That means if you're buying puts up in here, you probably look for a strike price at 134, 132, or if you want to be really bearish, 130. It turns out the low was 132.29. And drawing in some trend lines, you can see we appeared to have completed a nice little flag formation. The OBV is improving as we got down to that downside target. We go ahead a couple of bars. You can see we got one more push to the downside, and then we started to turn higher. So in the next part, I'll give you another way you can determine why a top was in place here and the downside targets, as well as look at the potential upside targets if this was indeed just a correction in an overall uptrend. So I hope you'll be able to join me in April. Please mark down the dates, April 19th to the 24th, and as we get closer, I'll have a specific time and day for my presentation. Those who sign up with us will be also invited to a post-presentation session where I'll look at some further examples of this methodology and also be able to answer your questions. Hope you can join us. Thank you very much. The link is in the email.